So 3, 2, 1. Okay, welcome to the Las Vegas Media and Film Institute's podcast.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna be talking about all things media and film related right now on this show. Of course, I got the one and only Johnny Murillo from Chicano Hollywood in town. And Mr. Rassiel Godinez, thank you for letting us use the space. Union Raza in the house.
Producer.
Yes, sir.
Now we got to come up with a name. So
Yeah.
right, would you the Las Vegas? What's her called?
Las Vegas Media Film Institute.
Las Vegas. So let's come up with a cool name.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like the Luxor. No, that won't work. MGM. No, I don't know. It's Las Vegas, right? So it's Las Vegas. So we'll come up with something classy, or we'll just use the initials. You know, something like that. Something
Entertainment
snazzy.
Capital Podcast.
Something. We need something creative, like a one word or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll come.
Okay.
Hooters. No, that one's taken already. I don't know. Something like that. We'll come up with something. You know. So
those letters, Las Vegas, motherfucker.
that one.
All right, we're missing one.
Yeah. Well, whatever will go good on a T-shirt, we can make a T-shirt. But this is sponsored by the LVMFI, but this podcast is called Rub It Up Dub 3 Men in a Tub or something like that. No, we won't go there. That sounds weird. We used to sing that little nursery rhyme when we were young. When you think about it right now, 3 men in a tub. Come on, come on. That was weird. Why were we singing that, or why were we saying that? You know.
Well, so not to take up too much of you guys' time, I really just wanted to get here and take the opportunity with you being in town. Thank you for driving in from the north side of Cali, straight through the snow.
Right,
straight to, man.
That was
like 6-7 hours?
hilarious. Yeah, so I left about 3 a.m.
Damn.
And so it's dark, right? So then right when the sun's coming up, I you're on the mountain, right there between Bakersfield and Barstow, you have the mountain up to Tehachapi. And you start seeing white on the side. So like, oh, that's cool. A little bit of snow. Next thing you know, it's a lot of snow. And I'm like, what the heck? So I had to get gas anyway. So I pull over into the town. And at least, I lived in Colorado for 12 years. So I know snow. So at least 2 to 3 inches of snow. And it's packed, right? And I'm in shorts and a T-shirt. And everyone else, they're all dressed like it's the North Pole, right? They're all hooded up and all that stuff. So I stopped at the Circle K. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, it's cold. And I get out. And people are staring at me like, what's that? Who's this fool, right? He's obviously not from here, but, I got gas and I'm driving out, sliding, all that. But it was cool. Within a mile out of town going towards Mojave, he was gone.
Cleared up, blue skies. Nice.
So it was like weird. It's like almost like Lord of the Rings, right? You just go and I looked in the mirror where it's all clouds behind me, like a wall of clouds. So I actually drove out of it. And then I'm like, blue skies, just a few clouds. And desert again, and it's gone. I look in the mirror, and it's all like this big old gray cloud. So they're like in a time warp or something, maybe. Like it's a winter zone. But yeah. But it's good to be here. We had a great time today.
Yeah, you slid in right in time for the workshop at Chicanos por la Causa.
Yeah.
Where we had the trainings and I guess more of an introductory session to the youth build program there. So we're exposing the kids there. Or I say kids, it's a different generation for me. And
18 to 24, they're kids, bro.
18 to 24,
kids,
those are some rough years for me personally.
No.
And, telling them about this whole media and film industry that's being proposed with the Assembly bill. You and I were at the, what's that office called where we went for the revenue meeting and we had all the union brothers there.
Center of Better Building Trades.
Yeah. So
shout out to them.
Yeah. They were all there in support of the new bill that's being proposed through the state assembly, AB 238. Mm-hmm. And so we were giving the youth bill program the information about that and how's that going to affect us, so Las Vegas is well known for its tourism and the hospitality industry. So when you're born here and raised here, and I've lived here for 10 years and I've been a part of the hospitality industry, and this is kind of what you are almost expected to get into if you're not an entrepreneur yourself, or maybe get into the armed forces, something like that. And we're saying, well, with this movie industry coming, with the plethora of jobs that they have, especially below the line, below the line is all the jobs you see at the end credits of any show or any film. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for you guys, not only for your generation, for generations to come, but you have to know what these jobs are, what departments there are that fit into the ecosystem of medium and film. So a lot of information that they were to soak in. We
had them for 2 hours, and these kids were like, they're from hard backgrounds. Some were homeless, single moms.
Yeah.
And I know we were probably, a lot of stuff we were talking above their head, but But there was a really, really cool moment when Donatillo, I was saying Tommy. Donatillo, he's a camera operator and a DP, and he had his camera out. And when he did his part, and then he invited, like, is if anyone wants to come up and touch my camera and operate the camera and learn how to do it. And those 4 young ladies, one was black.
Right away.
One was black and 3 were Hispanic, Chicano, right? And they came up and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I mean, Annalise said earlier, like she got chills, and so did I, because you're like, I hire crew all the time, and to find a female, and then even less a Chicana or African American that runs camera. Normally their makeup, their hair, stuff like that, right? Catering, but there are very few that are actually DPs. And to see these 4 young ladies from the hood, maybe homeless, that they just got turned on. There's one girl that said, "This is what I want to do."
Right away, yeah.
Man, that's like that. That's the magic. That's to me, driving all that. That was totally worth it. When she said that, I'm like, okay, this is great. This is why we did this,
And you're no stranger to doing workshops like this, right? I know you had me a part of one back in Boyle Heights last year.
Yeah.
And so that whole experience right there is kind of what led into how we're doing what we're doing with LVMFI out here.
Yep.
So I applaud you for that.
Yeah, no, and I think it's just a mission. Like, you're a businessman, you're an entrepreneur. Even the stories you're telling me about these guys back here, it's giving people opportunities. And a lot of it with us, with Raza, we're not able to dream and even think or fathom that we can actually have a job or a career in the entrepreneur side, small business, or entertainment industry. So, and it starts with a simple workshop. Get people together for a couple hours, spray a lot of sunshine on them, and then just let them think and open up their heads and their minds. What your experience on the business side with these guys here? I mean, what are you seeing with that?
Yeah, I think through business, one of the biggest lessons I learned is to understand the creative side, the systematical side, the step and repeats, systems, and just knowing when the talent comes in. Sometimes they don't even know.
Your customers come in,
either customers or the staff or the team. So in the entrepreneur world, to me, it's like amazing, exciting. When I hear you guys about Hollywood and how these films are being developed, and I'm already imagining who's behind the scenes, who's connecting everybody, how you guys are communicating. I look at what can a team has to do so they all connect and they all create, and all of a sudden you have a final product that we all enjoy when we're watching TV,
watching a movie or watching. And it's a lot.
It's amazing to hear you guys.
It's a lot, especially like, the people will look at the skills. Like I was, again, like most of us, raising the audio, raising with all that kind of a background and all that stuff. But then I went to Bible school, became a pastor. While I was a pastor for 23 years, I learned, you learn business, you learn working with people, you learn a lot of those things, counseling, stuff
emotional
like that.
intelligence.
Yeah, a lot of emotional intelligence. And so when I felt this direction to go into Hollywood, I'm like, man, I don't know jack about Hollywood, right? I don't know nothing about that stuff. I was a Pentecostal, so I preach against it, right? But then what was cool was when I got there, I started to look, and I did a lot of background work. Then I became an actor as well, so I'm doing some lead stuff. And I would look and just look and learn. And I'd realize, wait a minute, I could do this, because there were skills that I had in me. I just had to learn the language. Same thing with business. You're a businessman.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have very small businesses. When it comes to production, it's business. It's systems. You said it earlier, processes. And people, teaching that to our Raza, because we're automatic entrepreneurs, right? We're not going to go out and beg. We're going to go sell oranges, right? We're going to do whatever we got to do. We don't go beg.
Whatever it takes, baby.
Whatever it takes, right? Trabajar, and people don't realize that we have the skills already in us.
Yeah.
And we just need someone to pull it out. And that's what our session this morning with the kids at Chicanos by la Causa, all we did was just blow sunshine, pull it out. And when I saw them girls get the camera and they're holding it and they're looking at their image through the screen, they're like, man, I'm doing that.
Their faces just lit up.
Oh, man, that was amazing. And the young men that were too there, all that stuff. And then the dialogue we had, we're talking about Captain America, right? Have you seen that movie yet?
Yeah.
The new one?
Yeah.
Oh, the new one.
The new one that just came out. I went to see it the other day, so I brought it up. And you know, I'm terrible. For me to be in the movie industry is the worst because I like everything, right? So I'm looking at that. I'm like, that was a great movie, right? You know, Harrison Ford, Red Hulk. I'm like, yeah, it's great.
Kids were like, nah.
Oh yeah, man. They started hating on it big time. Yeah, like yeah. I'm like, okay, you know what?
No, man, he's Falcon, man. He's Falcon.
Yeah,
he's not Captain America.
It was funny because it struck a nerve but it helped
got the room up.
Yeah, it got the room. It helped some good teaching moments. But it's when teaching those kids about that kind of stuff, it stirred them all up. It opened their heads, opened their minds, and they're actually having conversations that they normally wouldn't have.
Yeah.
And that's what we did there. So it was great, you know, and teaching them that it's already inside of them. You're a businessman, you know, you're a producer businessman, and it's already in us. We just got to get it out. And that's what we did today. It was great. It was just a great experience, you know.
You know, to add to that, shining the light on them, giving them hope, as another meeting that we had today with some very influential people here in Las Vegas. They highlighted that in our conversation, in our meeting. They're like, you guys are giving hope to people here in the Valley in certain areas where there is none, exactly like you said. Yeah. And, you know, we come to the table with our own accolades, respectively. I mean, you, Rassiel, you had business, minority man of
big business.
What business entrepreneur of the year 2024? What was that?
It's minority owned business of the year 2024.
Really?
That's awesome, man.
Dang, I didn't know that. Wow.
And you know, with myself, I've been fortunate enough. There was some DEI programs, quite honestly, that came to the Valley recently with the Super Bowl Business Connect program, also with the F1, the production directory, and so I was able to be a part of that. Now, I would say that, you know, and everything that you're doing all across the country is absolutely amazing. So we all kind of have like a drive is what I'm trying to say. You know, maybe mine's not as much as your guys's because you are well established.
No, bro.
You
kept every minute of this day very, very booked. So yeah,
bro, you don't stop, bro.
You have a drive, bro.
Stop, I appreciate it. Coming from you guys, dude, I appreciate that so much.
And that's how you know. I mean, when I met Rob, and I don't know him that long, but when I said, okay, he's trying to connect. He's doing the things right. He's talking to the right people, and he doesn't tell you, you know, it's you know when somebody's bullshitting you, bro. You know, when you miss, and the truth is, síguele, carnal, you're doing a great job, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this shit ain't gonna be easy. No, but none's given. It's all earned.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's good.
That's
I like
facts.
That.
So.
Yeah, and we're not our community. We're not afraid of earning it.
Yeah,
you know, and. I see that a lot too where, you know, I hate to say it this way, maybe I'm wrong. You guys feel free to correct me.
Yeah.
But the more Americanized our children and our generations get,
yeah,
you know, they lose that.
Slow down a little bit.
Yeah. We got to, you know, our families, you know, my grandfather, my mom, they crossed that border, legal, unlegal, you know, not you know,
we're here now.
Yeah, you're undocumented, whatever that might be. They just came, right? And they worked hard. And I saw that. So I work hard. And I try to teach that to my kids. You got to work hard. But I notice if you're not intentionally teaching that, we can lose that work ethic. That's what Raza have. And you hear it in rap songs, right? You hear from the black community, the white community, like hire Mexican, and they're talking about us, right?
Yeah.
Because we have something inside of us, and that's what drives us. And if we can convey
that fire,
that fire, you want something, go. You got to work for it, you know. And we have that in us, and we just got to start pulling it out of. We do have a lot of our disadvantaged young people that are in bad positions that we have to just do what we did today.
Yeah.
Blow some sunshine. They got excited about it. Now they're dreaming.
So someone told me not too long ago, and they said, you know, people that come from like our type of background, if you think of life as a race, which a lot of people do, or arguably a marathon as it's become popularized, you know, shout out and RIP to Nipsey. When you think of it like that, so with the way you get started out in life, people like us, we get started in the back. Mm-hmm. So you are starting at a disadvantage from the get-go. Now, what I like to think of it is, yes, that's true. However, if you're able to light that fire, that back where you start at becomes a slingshot.
Yep.
And
and it goes out. Yeah, that's good.
What would you guys say is a couple of traits to really start that fire and that passion, you know, to keep driving? You've been keeping this business long. You told me about your ups and downs. You know, was it like the 2008 recession? Ooh. And you know where you're at now.
I lost 2 houses during that recession.
You know, and I think that taught me a lot. That recession and back in 2000, and I was just a kid, bro. I made, not to brag, but I think I was almost hitting my first mill by the time I was 27 years old. on
Nice.
on the small business that I hit.
Not the poker tables.
Not the poker table.
no.
It was called Ibarra Graphics. But when I seen how long it took me to build it and how fast it took me to lose it on that recession, 2008, maybe by this time I'm 29, 30 years old. And how I go from the house, the Hummer, the this, the that to I'm back home with my mom and shit, I can't even give her rent. What the hell happened? In a matter of, I don't know, 12 to 16 months. But I said, next time I'm going to do it because I got there, right?
That's it.
Next time, I know what to do. I already have the map. I'm going to learn when this touches on me again, it's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
So what I had to do, I had to go to the books. I had to read. I had to listen. I had to listen.
There's something there. I had to listen, man.
And then how do you keep that fire? It has to be that hunger. I gotta get my shit back.
Yeah.
I gotta show my primo, my tío, my dad that hey, I was down, but you guys show me how to get up.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, so that, and I think that to this day, when the other recession hit, which was COVID, I was ready, bro. So let's go. Let's go.
He's like, I'm fine.
Let's go.
You see me at the poker table.
I know. With the mask on.
But those I think that's what builds you. If you're able to calm down and you get
back up.
You get back. You use that knowledge. You learn, what the hell did I do wrong? Well, my ego, my drink, and my blah. Okay, that aside. Business, I didn't learn this, I learned that. You didn't know. You weren't prepared, boy.
No, that's good.
You know how to sell, but
what I like about one of the principles that I live by and I teach is that, and I learned this during that same recession. I lost everything, right? I lost everything. Todo. I lost everything. They were down to another homelessness, right? And I had my wife, my kids, and it was terrible. But I had to, I was going to a dark depression too, because I'm like, my whole career, everything, right? But then I remember God telling me, he goes, you need to give yourself permission to fail. And once I gave myself permission to fail, once I accepted that, okay, I failed. I'm going to give myself permission. Boom, it was over. And once I did that, I can accomplish anything. I'll try anything. It doesn't matter. Right now, with this whole thing that I built, Chicano Hollywood, the whole platform, I don't know jack about what I'm doing. I don't know, but I'm like, let's just do it. And it happens, and it's growing, and it's blowing up. And it's only because I gave myself permission to fail. If this whole thing falls apart,
no pasa nada.
Do it again. Yeah. You learn. And just like you lost everything. Okay, it doesn't matter. The amazing thing is that you hit a level that now you'll never be satisfied till you're beyond that level. I used to have a construction company and I had a partner. And this was back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it was blowing up. We had like 75 paisas working for us. We did half the mall in Chandler, Arizona, the big ADT, with commercial construction, right? We're doing the drywall, metal stuff, framing. We made a lot of money. I got a lot of money. But it was my first time making that much money. He's done it before. Now, it fell apart on us, right? The guy, we had odds and all that stuff, and we separated and all that.
I've been there.
Yeah. It ended up costing me $100,000. But it took me to that, that 7-figure level. And when you hit that 7-figure level and you're there, even if you're there just for a moment.
Capable of it.
I got it in me. And that's what I see with you, right? And it's in all of us. It's in all of us. You just got to get those levels up. Even if you fall back, like we lose it all, at least I could hit that 7-figure level and I'm going to do it.
And going back right now to that kid, I just remembered I didn't even hit it. I was at 780K on 2007.
Wow.
So I remember one of my boys told me, you didn't even hit that mill. And I'm like,
ooh, wait.
So that kind of stuff, I'm like, you're fucking right.
Yeah.
Bro,
I will.
I will. And I know how. Now, depressions, bro, going back to mom and after, you're the big dog, man. You're that. You don't even have to make that line.
With a Hummer?
You're a kid. You don't have to make that line. Hey, bro, you're in the front. It was like, okay.
Humbling experience.
Like, what did God show me?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sit down, boy.
Same thing for me, going across tour. And I'll never forget, going around the country. And there'd be times I was FaceTiming my pops. And, and I'm just like, hey, Pop, check this out. I'm at Niagara Falls, man. I'm over here in freaking Pittsburgh, or I'm over here in Philadelphia, just across the country. Pops grew up in Compton. You know, he's been to Vegas like twice. And, you know, he was my my role model growing up. And I'm like, Dad, look at what I'm doing. And I come home for Christmas or something like that. I flew home, and then the family kind of embraces me. They're like, my dad's wife tells me, she's like, Mijo, you're a badass. Like, you fucking did it. You're fucking badass. And, you know, and it's not like that's why I did it, but it was just like, oh shit, this is how they see me now. You know, and I'm just out here doing it, like chasing it, like whatever the hell it is that I'm chasing, you know, the spirit in me is just pushing me forward. And then getting there and then having a fallout with a business partner, being owed like 6 figures. And then you're like,
being sued by Wells Fargo.
Yeah. You know, you have it, you reach it, like you guys are saying, you get a taste of it. And then now it's like, all right, get knocked down on your ass, but like a fighter, like we do in the spirit of our people, you get back up. Because the fight's never over until it's over.
Yeah,
you could beat me, you could drop me, but you got to kill me in order to stop me.
Yeah. And and it goes back to just inside, you know, like, you know, we fail. I give myself permission. Now I can accomplish anything. Same with you guys, you know. So there's no limits anymore. We could just do it, you know.
And something else that I learned, now I'm 46 years old, you know, and I've been in that fucking room plenty of times, you know, and then just swing back or relax or jab or move the fuck out of the way. I mean, different angles. Something I learned, every time you make it to a certain level, you have to reinvent yourself. You have to put a new challenge, and you have to make new mistakes.
Smart.
But now you have all right, why did I make that mistake? What could I do so it's not a step and repeat process? And then you start doing your resource. So it really becomes a game.
Yeah.
It becomes a game of how do I figure this shit out? Yeah, because there's a point where it's not, and I can imagine people are way higher levels than me because I'm just a small business owner, Latino, just throwing the dice out there and let's hit this shit, you know. To them, it cannot be about a lunch or a dinner no more, or a car, or you know, it's about the game. It's about the level. Now I can't say power and all that because I'm not honestly I'm not attracted to that. Yeah. But they say that shit is addicting too. Yeah. You know, and that's another level of the game. Yeah. And you know, it depends how long you want to play it, how much you want to expose it, or when you want to give it that torch, and it could be your son, your cousin, your best friend, your neighbor, you never know. But you get like, bro, let me teach you how to play this game and then fucking blow it up.
Yeah, show you how,
And in my mind, I do, like, when I see people at a high, that 2% level, and I'm like, man, do I really want to get there?
Right? Yeah, because after you taste it, you're like, man, what else? Like, what's it going to keep driving me?
Do I need to?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do I? What am I giving up? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Or say, fuck it. You know what? Let me play this game.
I'm good.
You know, let's play. But understanding that part.
But there's sacrifices that come with it, right?
Yeah. I mean,
nothing's for
family.
free.
Your time, exactly. Bro, your precious thing in this world is our time.
Yeah.
That's what you're sacrificing.
Yeah. The journey's the reward, like that old Chinese proverb. Yeah. And you know, the sky can be the limit, which means it could be endless. But then the further you reach up high, the further you are detached from the ground and being leveled and grounded.
Yeah.
And that's something I realized.
The journey, that's what you said earlier, the journey.
The journey's the reward.
If you don't learn how to enjoy the journey, you're going to miss the reward. And you have to, it's like today.
Yeah.
Last night I could have called you and said, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I'm going, you know, and 3 a.m, got up, and it's, you know, obviously when you're tired, you're like, oh, I'm drinking coffee, trying to stay awake, and you regret it and all that stuff.
I had like 10 cups today.
I'm in the snow, right? And I'm like, oh man, what the heck? But the journey today, just for me today, to see those kids, like we talked about earlier, touching the camera and just being enlightened and just finding a passion. That's, to me, the best reward.
Priceless, man. Priceless.
And it takes maturity to get to that, you know? And maturity comes because you got the crap beat out of you, and I got it beat out of me, you got it beat out of you guys. And there's a point where, like, once you get that beating, and I, you know, and you learn the lesson, and God walks you through that pain. Once you get that beating, then you're like, okay, I'm good. And then you know, I can make 7 figures if I want to, because I've been there if I want to. Or do I want to sacrifice? Like, yeah, you know, and you know, if you got kids, if you got family, you don't want to sacrifice them for money.
Yeah.
But that takes some maturity. And, you know, but we have that. Yeah. Once you grab that, then you can go do it because you're not going to sacrifice your family.
I think that going back to the game, you fall in love with the game. And I'll give you an example. I'm always my mind's always going. What doors can we open? How many people can we help? How many people can we touch? What can I connect? What can I do? The team, the this, the that, and then my wife has to pull me out of that world and say, "Bro, let's go. Let's go take a drive. Let's let's go over here. Yeah. Let's go over there. You got to relax because." You love playing that game. And that's when you realize, oh shit, my wife's right. What am I sacrificing? What am I really here? Or I'm just constantly trying to create.
No, that's interesting.
And now I imagine, this is me now I imagine those people that are at 2%, how's their world?
Honestly, you start doing research, you see that people that have sacrificed the most important things to get there, not all of them. There's some people that are at that higher level of income and so on that they have healthy families and all that. So I'm not gonna say everybody, but there are people that made some really bad sacrifices. And the term "it's lonely at the top." I've been with people that are at the top, and they're lonely, and they always. I get this all the time. I get compliments from my kids and now my grandkids, and they're like, "Man, I never had that. Never did that." And they got an amazing career or amazing, accumulation of wealth and all that stuff, and it cost them. And those are mistakes that we want people not to make. If you go back to the journey, now we all want more money. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with money.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. We want to get it, but as long as it doesn't get us.
Yeah.
Well, what's the motto you have with your brand? Dirty hands but clean money, or something like that.
Dirty hands, clean money.
Yeah, nice.
Manos sucias, dinero limpio. Am I wearing it right now?
Actually, it's right here on the back of your sweater. Yeah.
Advertise. Product placement right now on this podcast.
I went the wrong way, but next time.
And I think that also goes back to who we are in our culture and even to our indigenous roots. That's who we are in our core, and then still being on the land where our lineage and our ancestors literally shed their blood. And there's something, maybe even a spiritual connection that's supposed to keep us grounded. It's supposed to keep our feet on the ground so we don't detach from that. We could say all the way back just a few hundred years ago, before colonization came and then came commercialism, came capitalism. That's something that we weren't really used to. We were still living off the land. And, this is just a handful of generations ago. This isn't something ancient. To be ancient, you have to be 2,000 years old. This is a few hundred years ago. So we are still, I think, connected to that, but you have to get to that higher level of consciousness to realize that. And if we're able to pass that message along to the future generations as a reminder, don't forget where you come from and stay humbled and grounded. But hey, it's okay to earn the money, to get the opportunities to reach it. But
that's the only way you can bless somebody too. That's the thing about it. You can't, a poor person can't bless another poor person unless they have a good smile.
Yeah.
But like the three of us, we know we like to help people. And you got to have something to help them with.
You got to get back.
Yeah. So that little poverty mentality that we were all raised with, right? We're raised with it. We're, like, oh, pobrecito, humilde.
You mentioned you were a pastor, no?
Yeah, no,
A lot of, and I'm not saying.
No.
But there is some pastors that they say, hey, el dinero es el diablo.
Yeah,
and they got, all of a sudden, they got 500, 600, 800 people in their iglesias. And telling them, hey, no, Dios quiere bendecirte. There's other pastors as well.
Oh, yeah, I know them all.
And then you're like, dude, what the hell is this pastor telling his community? I mean, and nothing against them. I'm telling you, I've seen them all sides, the motivational, and you see that, and they're like, no tiene, there's not. I mean,
it's the idea that poverty is humility before God is the wrong teaching. The idea that poverty gets us closer to God or makes us more attractive. It's wrong. It's wrong. Poverty is poverty. And we've been raised with poverty. I think our backgrounds have something where, now again, I always say we were poor, but we didn't know it.
Yeah,
right?
I was happy as hell.
We didn't know it. You look back now and you're getting that government welfare cheese, and we'd be like, "Oh, cool, we got cheese, make quesadillas." But
first in the 15th.
We didn't know. But as you get older and you start growing and you start learning, you're like, "Okay, I want to help." I like Dr. Caesar Quintana blessed that young man with the camera.
Oh yeah,
Donatio. And to me, that's an amazing story, because I remember he told us about that, way back when, a couple months ago.
Yep.
Then to see that young man,
how it affected him
today. He gave him tools, and that was a $10,000 package. And I'm giving some love to Dr. Caesar Quintana, the chiropractor. Look him up. But he gave him that package because he saw something in him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Donatino got this camera package of $10K and he's out there making money with it.
Yeah.
And then not only that, what we saw today was he's inspiring other people. That came because Caesar is a blessed man because he's a doctor and he's a chiropractor and he works hard and he had the resources, the money to see something in somebody and say, I'm gonna bless you. And then that's the domino effect because now he's blessing others, right?
Exactly.
That can only happen when you got the resources. So we're not gonna, we don't want poverty within our community. We want our community to be prosperous, not greedy.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Not dirty. La dinero que tiene que estar limpia. And when you get to that point and you work hard, because we have it culturally within us, we're hard workers. You just got to get past some of them barriers, the educational barrier, just a simple one of reading and writing. Man, I see young people. I said this earlier today. How many are dyslexic? I'm a little dyslexic, right? And I said that out loud so they can know they're not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And look where I'm at. Not that I'm on, but look where I'm at. And you can be here too, even with your dyslexic disability, you know? So there are all those kind of things. We just got to get past that. And I think that's the mission that we're on. How do we get our community, our young people, even guys that are older that have been not able to find purpose, even getting them to the point where like, okay, I need to do something with whatever years I have left, you know?
There you go.
Whether it be business or production or whatever it might be, you know?
I dropped a quote on him earlier with us that you shared with me before, where you said, I am you and you are me. You know, and I felt like a little shift in the room.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I got it from this one.
That was a good one.
And so, like, just sharing my story the way I grew up, and Donatio told me, he's like, hey man, that was a little heavy, and I was like, oh hey, my bad, like, hey, I was just trying to connect with them, and to tell them like, hey, I've been through it too, but if I could get here, so can you guys. And I was really just trying to inspire. And I feel that if we're being humble and then just lay our cards out on the table, just enough to where they can comprehend, you don't have to show your whole hand, but say, hey, I did this and I paved the way for you so you can come along and you can trust me and I can show you that you can trust me because here, let me divulge this to you.
I think, honestly, I get what Donatio's saying, but for this audience, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Now, would you do that same talk in front of a Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce? No. But for this audience, when I'm listening to you too, and I'm thinking, well, this is heavy.
Yeah.
But when you were quoting that,
I
was like, oh man, this just
kind of just all
full circle.
Peak,
first
right?
circle.
Yeah.
It was great. It was really great. So I totally got what he's saying, but you nailed it on that, and just being transparent is perfect.
Yeah.
They need to see that they are not the only ones in their tough circumstances.
And you missed it because you were still driving in, but I began it with a quote. And it said something along the lines where you got to get to a point where you realize that you're no longer a product of your environment, that it's on you to be accountable, to be the change on how and what you want to see in your life.
Yeah.
So I had that up in the screen when they walked in, so they were able to read it, digest it. And I got into my story and I said, when I was a teenager and I was 19, I got exposed to broadcasting. And I was working in radio stations and I'm meeting people that, radio back then, I was like, I don't know, 07 or something. And so
07, that seems like yesterday.
I know, right? And here we are, 2025. Nearly 20 years ago. And so
I know, even worse. I feel bad now.
And so I told these kids, I'm like, look, I came from a family of union workers. My dad was union worker, CWA. My brother was Teamsters for a bit. My grandpa, God rest his soul, he was UAW, United Auto Workers Union. And I even got my brother-in-law, he's a IBEW. So my pops always growing up, he was just like, mijo, stay below the line. Don't let them see you. Don't let them see you. Shout out to Pops. I love you. And he was just like, just do what you got to make enough to stay here. And I was like, all right. And that was the plan. And then, I got hit by a drunk driver and that changed my life because there was something that happened to where I know I was literally within a couple of feet from death because the dude passed out behind the wheel and he did like 70 and just smacked right into me. And there was this point that I remember that night where I was just like, wow, I feel like angels were protecting me. Like you cannot change my mind about that because there's a deeper story to that. But then my pops, that night in the hospital, because afterwards you get like the body shocks and the trauma after the adrenaline goes off. And then Pops was just like, mijo, he saved you for something, just figure it out. And then I was just like, all right. And then, I had 2 cars at that time and I lost my cars. I lost my girl, everything just fell apart. And then I heard this commercial on the radio have you ever thought about being in radio broadcasting? And I had a deep voice,
It
but
sounds like it right now.
you know, I
Yeah.
back then, I kind of still talk like this, back then.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey, what's up, fool? Like the SGV talk and all that stuff. Like, hey, dog, it's all good. And, I had the deep voice and everything, but it wasn't articulated. I didn't know about my enunciation and things like that. And that only came through vocal training. So I did the hard 9 months of the vocational training. And then before you know it, I spent so much time in a booth on a microphone, honing my voice to be like, that sounds good. Testing it, putting it on tape, literally. Taking it to the instructors. What do you guys think? Oh, it sounds good. Do this, this, and that, to where I was able to go to a radio station, and then they heard it and they saw my skills and like, hey, come over here. And it's like, okay. Then before you know it, I'm meeting like these rap stars, these pop stars, these movie stars. And I'm like, holy shit.
You're doing all the trailers in the early 2000s, right? In the world, more far away.
Yeah, right.
That's
Don
cool.
LaFontaine, right?
Yeah.
Commercial production and voiceover. So just shout out to Justin and Vinny that taught me, and Raging Asian, Gene, just opened my perspective to life, because it was like all my life, it was like, mijo, stay here, be this, get by. Then something happened, and then something bigger happened, and I was like, wow, I hit this point where I was like addicted to the game. It's like, what else can I get? And that just changed my life. And now fast forward almost 20 years, here I am and doing these things with you gentlemen. And so it's just like,
and you're changing lives. I mean, today,
I would
with
hope
all
so.
you. Yeah. We're great. It was a great day, but you organized that. And because of that, there's kids right now, whatever they might be. I just thought about, there might be homeless, whoever they might be.
Yeah.
But especially those 4 young ladies, right, that they're still talking about holding that camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if your dad said, find out what it is, I think it's coming out right now. It's great.
Yeah.
And you're getting barely getting started. So
Yeah, this is just the beginning. Yeah, we're still having lunches.
Yeah. I'm ready
And
for 15
meetings.
rounds, bro. Like, let's do it.
Yeah. We're
that's what's up.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes again. That's when I said it's not gonna be easy. You gotta earn it, because that's what's gonna take. It's gonna take those meetings. It's gonna take that grind. And then I think that's what we get addicted to. Is actually that hustle, that grind, that journey. What's gonna happen today? I touched somebody. Today I did a negotiation. Today I met someone really, really cool. So that's really living. That's playing the game. You're not on the bench. You're playing the game.
Get in the game. That's it, man. We're in the game. You're in the game.
And still being able to go back to the community and being like, look, we've made it this far, but we're not forgetting about you.
Come on in.
Come along. Yeah,
come
exactly.
On in. Come on in. Come on in.
We'll be the bridge that we didn't have.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 16, I was in high school. I had my truck, my 53 Chevy, right, as a little rider.
Nice.
And my grandmother, if you know San Jose, they had all the canneries there. That's where all my family worked at, right? Most of them. And they moved the canneries from San Jose to Modesto. And my abuelita, I was 16, and she's like, my mom was already by this time working for the San Jose County Transit. So she ain't going nowhere. She has a bus driver, right? So we're rooted there. She bought her house, right? We're rooted. But my abuelita, she tells my mom, why is he still in school? Tell him he can go and work in the counter. He can go with me to Modesto. And her idea was, I'm 16, and it's like, what's he doing? What's he doing wasting his time in school for, right? So we still have those voices that are holding our people back, and we didn't have those bridges. I can imagine if I told my abuelita, no, I'm going to go to Hollywood one day. She'd be like, está loco. You in Hollywood? You're not going to. You think you're a Pedro Infante, So she would, I never would have had that family encouragement to go to Hollywood. Now,
¿Qué te decían? ¿Y de qué vas a comer?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Now, they would have encouraged me, though, to actually work in the cannery. They would encourage me to join the police force. They would encourage me to work for the government. And to join the military. All those things, yes, because that's the things they were doing, right? But the idea of Hollywood was way beyond us. We don't do that. That's not us, right? And so we didn't have those bridges, but now that's what one of my mission is, just to build a bridge so that people that are our Raza, our kids, that if they are thinking about it, if they do see, I'm trying to think of a Latina actress, as a Wizards of Waverly Place.
Eva Longoria.
Yeah, or Selena Gomez or Jenny Ortega. They're watching Wednesdays. They see Jenny Ortega. They see she's a Chicana. They see that she's that she's one of them. Their mind is like, how did she get there? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what our mission is. We'll show you how she got there. Mm-hmm. It's simple. And we're building that bridge. So giving back, like your dad was telling you, the purpose, helping people get in business. Right now, the way we're talking, there's people listening to this podcast like, dang, dang, what kind of business he got? Well, we'll show you how to do this. We're going to build a bridge. Now, you got to cross that bridge and you got to work hard. It's not going to be easy. No one's going to give it to you. What's you're saying? You got to earn it, or you're just saying something earlier, right? That you got to.
It's not given. You have to earn it.
Yeah. It's not going to be easy, right?
Yeah,
so it's not going to be easy, but we're going to do something.
It's earned, not given, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do something that we didn't have. And that's what our mission is. We're going to build a bridge. So whether it be entrepreneurship, business, whatever it might be, or Hollywood, we're going to build a bridge because we didn't have that. But
let me ask you guys a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
I was just thinking right now. In the last, I want to say the last 10 years, the last decade, what percentage in California and Hollywood are Latino, the actual workers that
This guy.
Dude, the UCLA, they do a report every year.
It just came out.
Right, every year. And
diversity report,
it's fun.
something like
the
that,
diversity report, yeah. And it's a great report. The lady that does it, that's her thing, right? And she watches. I don't know how they do it, but I'm assuming they watch every movie, every TV show, and they measure who are the lead, the measurements, the percentage wise, right? So right now, I think the latest one that came out, how many lead roles? Like 2% were Latino. Yeah, how many? Maybe speaking roles like 3%. I mean, it's terrible. The highest number of all those, the metrics that she uses is 3.2%. We, as moviegoers, we're like 24%. We buy the tickets. I tell people, we are the profit margin. If we didn't go support their movies, they'd be bankrupt.
Yeah.
But we are that margin that gives them the profit.
X factor, so to speak.
Yeah,
right?
we're that X factor. And they, and I heard the sad thing about it. We're very small, right? 1-2% in different things in crew, in talent, all that stuff. 1-2%, right? Producers.
And above the line? What about above the line?
Yeah, same thing. Less. I think directors were like, I think that was the highest one, maybe 3%, something like that. But everybody else, producers, 1%,
And this is Los Angeles when this after
Hollywood.
Mexico City. Los Angeles probably has the most Latinos or Mexicans. Chicanos. But yet Hollywood right there, 2%.
That's my biggest complaint. And I say, look, we were here first. Why are we last? Boom. We were here first, you know? So the percentages are terrible. And I heard this is from a showrunner that's big time embedded into the studio system, right? And she said that as far as the studios are concerned, they're not going to go after us. There's no DEI. They say they had DEI in Hollywood. They never had it. Yeah. They're not going to go after us. As a matter of fact, the Hollywood Reporter came out today, I think, and said, DEI is gone, but did Hollywood ever have it? And he's like, no, we never had it. I saw that from Ken Castillo. He put, nope, we never had it. But at the studio level, their executive producers, the big bosses of the big movie theater, this showrunner heard them, and she was in meetings, and they said, we don't need to cater to the Latinos because you already support what we're doing anyway. So why should
you're gonna buy it anyway?
Yeah. Why should we make movies with your faces when you're okay with seeing our faces?
Yeah.
Now with
straight up, I see.
Yeah. They're like, why are we going to do it? Why are we going to,
for you? That's why we don't want Hollywood 2.0 here.
No, I know.
Why have that over here?
So now that the industry's coming, how do you prevent that? How do you change that 2%?
By what we're doing right now.
That's why a year ago I did a tour, and part of it was working with people that already connected with Chicano Hollywood, right? So I had Rob here. I have Juan Batalla in Chicago. I had Abel in El Paso. And I toured different 10 cities where I knew we had people, right? And I told Rob, get a mixer together. However you feel would be the best way. Some people had an open mixer. We had all kinds of people there. Some had a more private. This one here was more private, but we had key players here, right? The Film Commission and several others that were here. Boo and all those guys were here. Boo. Kim and Danette and all them.
Some other people from the studio.
Yeah, and there's about 30 plus people, maybe 40 people, right? And we're in the restaurant in downtown.
No, to be honest with you, I think it was a lot smaller than that.
It was smaller?
Yeah, it was probably about 20, 25.
Yeah, very intimate.
Yeah.
And it was there that I said, look, because of the whole Hollywood 2.0 in Vegas and all that, I know no one likes that name here, but anyways, it's good to know. But because of all that, I said, if we, and meaning the Chicano voice, if we don't get in those conversations now, and I looked at the Film Commission, Kim, and I said, if you don't get us in those conversations now, before it's all built, then what's going to happen here, what happened to us in LA, where we're always on the outside looking in, always knocking on the door, even though we were there first. We're always outside. I said, if that would happen in LA is going to happen here if we don't get in the conversation now. Mm-hmm. So that's what this is all about. That's why we started this. That's why we have this great relationship with the Film Commission and all these others, because we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
it's possible. Some of the conversation we're having now earlier at dinner, they have the Good Old Boys Club, and they're going to keep it that way as long as possible. I heard this. These are from some of the unions in LA. One of the union leaders told me, he goes, Johnny, straight up, he's a Chicano guy, straight up, they told me that if we give your people work, it's going to be less work for our people.
There's that narrative again. Stealing our jobs, huh?
Oh, yeah, all that gatekeeping, all that. So it's a real thing, right? And nepotism's a real thing, right? And I tell people, look, I don't trip because I'm going to hire my people, so they're going to hire their people, I'm going to hire my people. What's going to change is we have to become, we got to be skilled, got to be trained, and we got to become a stronger force. That dinner meeting we had earlier, it's about how can we become a stronger force? Because if we don't, even though right now, there's a very minimal professional level film community here, very minimal. Mm-hmm. But with all this infrastructure coming, it's going to bring all these people from LA unless Las Vegas can supply the crew that's needed.
Stand on its own 2 feet.
It has to. That's why what we're doing to make sure that people of color, Latino, Chicano especially, that we are there trained and ready to go. And when this happens, it's going to be 2, 3 years, 4 years before those things are finally built.
Yeah.
If we don't at least have a good portion to fill those slots, they're all going to come from LA. Now I'm from LA, so I'm not bashing my people over there, but
I'm originally from LA.
It's going to happen. And our mission for Vegas is to get the people that are here in the barrios. How do we get them out? How do we get those diamonds in the rough out? That's what I want to do,
Yep.
So what's it going to change is what we're doing right now.
And then I wish they would understand that in the Latino community, I'm from Vegas. There's so much talent. There's so many kids out there.
Absolutely.
They need the career, they need the training. They're creative, they're fun, and tienen un corazón hermoso.
Sí,
My son's 23 years old. My daughter's 21. My youngest is 18. And when they come to see them, how talented they are, when they bring their friends, when I see how, I'm like, bro, you have to know they're there.
Yeah.
It's you can't avoid them. They're not no longer the
in the shadows.
In the shadows of these kids are educated now. They're here. They're understanding. They got all this talent. Don't be dumb.
Yeah, and there was 2 girls today. There's the 4 that we were talking about, but there's 2 others that came to me after and they're talking, and they showed me their TikTok accounts. Right, again, my immediate. Like, oh, let me see what you got, and just kind of downplaying it, right? But then I looked at one girl's, and these kids are homeless, these kids are broken, these whatever they're coming from. I saw her TikTok account. She had like 12,000 views on just one video. She had like a big following, and I saw her content. She does like makeup and hair stuff, and she edited it really well. And I'm like, what? I said, you're an influencer. Nah, I only got like 12,000. No. I said, you were very close to becoming brand friendly. So I gave her some tips, and then I told the lady at Chicanos, Causa, I said, hey, we need to do how to create a viral video training. I said, I got the guys I got guys that do, that's what they do. I said, I'll bring my team in, we'll do that, because the talent, and these are kids, and I say it respectfully, from the hood. These kids are homeless, and they're showing me their TikToks that are 12,000 followers, and I'm like, okay, this is a brand friendly girl. This girl has no idea what the path that she's on. She's on the path that she can make a wonderful living. She just doesn't know yet until I'm telling her, you know what you could do with this? You know what you could do? And the other girl también, she goes, oh yeah, my other account got hacked, but I had a lot of followers too. And then blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, follow me. Let's get you connected. Let's get you going, because they have the talent, and it's here in Vegas. It's just like mining. The gold is there. If you don't go dig it out, it's going to be in the hill.
It's like planting a seed, and you got to nurture it. You got to cultivate it. Absolutely.
So that being 2% and going back over there, how hard was it for you guys to be within that 2%?
Oh, hard enough that I started my own. That's why I have Chicano Hollywood.
Path. I got to create your own door.
Yeah, I had to think about this. I assessed it for 17 years there. we're pitching our ideas and our stories to the Hollywood system, and we never get past the gatekeepers, right? The gatekeepers were sometimes Latino, Latinx, right? They didn't like the Chicano voice. We're too masculine. We're too traditional, too stereotypical.
Too hood.
Yeah, too hood. You know,
Muchos huevos.
Yeah, puro huevo, right? And we would never get past them. And there was a point where I realized when I saw, colleagues of mine that we would talk about how we're pitching and nothing's happening, but we see other shows that were getting greenlit on Netflix and all these others, but they're only lasting one season. They're getting, they're trying to do like, let's start a petition to keep this certain show on. And it's like, if you got to start a petition to keep a show on Netflix, you don't understand that Netflix doesn't look at the shows. They look at the data.
Yeah. The
and all they see that no one is watching this thing, and because it's not entertaining. And they were doing it in what I call the Latinx voice, which is a very progressive type of voice. And Latino families aren't ready for that kind of stuff. You know, you're not going to watch it with your kids, stuff that makes you cringy, so you just don't watch it. And it's like, okay, well, the Chicano voice, we're a little bit different. We're a bit more traditional. And I want to create shows and movies that I could have my kids come in and no one, you don't have to run up there and shut it all up, you know? So it's a different voice. And when they're struggling and all that kind of stuff, I thought, you know what? We have the technology. I built out our own streaming app. So we have Chicano Hollywood TV. Look it up on your app store, right? With the audience, right? We have our own training. We have our own master classes. I do our own events. We're producers. Within our group, we have like the top, people that are growing and learning, but then I also have top people that are doing major stuff. We just shot a pilot with Abe Martinez as the DP. He was also the DP of Cobra Kai. So Cobra Kai on Netflix, #1 show. He's also working with us because he's one of us. I've been working with him for like 16 years, right? And others that we work with, you know.
And then the young man, Cholo Madera?
Yeah, Cholo Madera.
From Blue Beetle. Have you seen that superhero movie? Blue Beetle or Cobra Kai on Netflix?
I seen that Cobra Kai.
Okay, you know the Chicano kid, the main guy? Yeah, Miguel.
Yeah.
That's character. Yeah. So all those guys, Danny Gonzalez, they're all beautiful people that are just working hard in the studio system.
Part of the organization of Chicano Hollywood.
Yeah. And then they're networked with us, and then there's so many more that are growing and on the come up, you know, and that's what's changing. Now, our mission was, you know what, I don't need the studio system no more. We have equipment, we have cameras, we have skilled people, we have all that stuff. We need money. Yeah. But we have everything else, right? So now my hunt now is just try to raise a film fund, a capital fund, so that we could produce movies. I have movies, and some of my partners, we all have great ideas that will be hilarious and make a lot of money. But it takes some work to do that. But the idea of trying to, I'm done knocking on the man's door. I don't do that no more.
Yeah, I love what you said though. I had to build my own door.
Brandon. There's a guy, a Chicano magazine, a news group. It's called The Daily Chela. The editor, journalist guy, his name's Brandon Maxwell. He's a friend of mine. Now, Maxwell, that's not Chicano last name, but you know his dad's Irish, and I think they're from. I forgot where he's from, but it was just one of those sailor things. I think come in and out. So he doesn't know his dad that well. I don't understand. I could be wrong, Brandon. Sorry, but they don't know his dad. But he's puro Chicano, right? Puro Chicano, did time, all that stuff, right? He got out of jail, went and he got a passion for journalism, went to DC on an internship, learned journalism, started the Daily Chela, has a big following. But he has this quote that I use all the time. He said, I would rather build my own castle than knock on the door of someone that won't let me in. When I read that, Chicano Hollywood.
Let's go.
I'm not going to knock on their door no more.
And you know, to vouch more for the organization, the actual enterprise actually that you built, because this is now expanding across states, and that's what constitutes an enterprise. You know, so definitely big accolades for that. The star power that you can bring and that you have brought, for instance, to the Elevate conference, the first one, I'm mad I didn't go to that first one. You know, to meet.
I was waiting
Edward
for
James.
you.
Sorry.
So who's the guy from Vegas?
Dude, if I had the chance to meet Edward James Olmos.
Yeah, he was there.
Luis Guzman.
Luis,
you know what I'm saying?
They love what we do. Yeah.
Just like these iconic dudes that I grew up watching and just in a way admiring for the fact that they just kept putting their foot in, no matter what they had to do. But especially like Edward James Olmos with all the 90s movies in LA and his voice and the kind of poetic way that he always brought that cinematic touch. And it's just like, wow. Like,
amazing guy, yeah.
They're able to only do so much though as individuals while still trying to live their lives.
That's a great point. You know, people don't realize that. And and I say that all the time too. I said the assumption is that if I could just get my script to Eddie James Olmos, and he's going to help me. If I get my script to George Lopez, or if I could just, and like none of them can do that. They're still trying to chase it themselves, and they still have to pitch and push and all that. It's not easy for them. So
Emilio
they have to work hard.
I'm sorry.
Emilio, Emilio, all those things. So the idea, the assumption that they can help us all they can. The only way, and I tell people, the only way we're going to get to the next level is when we lock arms and do it together.
Like a phalanx.
That's it. We have to. And I say like the day's over when Latinos step on each other to get to the next level. We have to lock arms and do it up. That's the only way. And that's what we're doing in Vegas. That's what we're doing in Chicago and El Paso. We're locking arms. I have our streaming app. There's also some other streaming apps that are popping up. And I knew that was going to happen. I was like the first Chicano one, right? And there was other Latino ones, but they weren't independent. They were like Univision, like those ones, right? But so I was the first independent. And I after I built it out, right, I'm like, okay, we got content on there, we got some movies on there. I'm like, all right. And then I thought, okay, that was pretty easy. I'm like, ooh, that means other people can see, man, if that fool can do it, I can do it. So there's new ones popping out, which is great. And I have a rule. I don't compete with other Chicanos. I don't compete with other Latinos at all. I don't compete. If they're in the game and they're in the streaming game, I'm going to help them the best I can. The locking arms together, there's several that have reached out to me, multiple ones. And I say, some that are in development, some that are actually out, and they need content. And I say, you hit me up, I'll give you whatever I got. Because the more that we are, the bigger we are, the more streamers we have, the more original content we're going to need. That's going to create more jobs for our people. So
more opportunities.
More opportunities. So I got a Latino USA. They're a sister partner to us. We got Chicano Power TV. There's a few others that are on the come up that I'm telling them, you need help? Let me know. Because I know that as they grow their audiences and I grow my audience, if I create a TV show and I give it to Latino USA Live, I give it to Chicano Power TV, I give it to whoever else that wants it, it's going to make my TV show more popular, more views. And then for that kind of data, I go to a brand and say, look, this show was watched by 10 million people.
And that's how it's supposed to operate.
That's how it works.
And we're taking advantage by using our
and
voice.
We're using each other.
Yeah.
If I would have said, oh no, you're my competitor, all that does is kill jobs. All that does is kill everybody. I'm like, you're not my competitor, you're my homie. So how can I help? What can we do? And that's how we do it. And with that, and we need each other to grow. If we try to do this step on each other thing, it doesn't work no more. Not in this environment, not in this era of time. We have to do it ourselves,
Yes, amen. And to be respectful of time, I know you got to drive back to LA, and we're here at your studio. I just want to wrap this up. If you guys have anything last that you want to say.
No, I'm excited for what's going on in Vegas. I think everyone, if you're watching this podcast, make sure you go to the website, sign up our newsletter. We're building a nonprofit here in Vegas, and eventually, as we train people, we need actors, we need directors, we need writers. We're going to start training you, and we're going to start shooting content here. And so that's the big vision. We're shooting some TV series, movies here. They might be small scale, but it doesn't matter. We want to get you in front of a camera or behind a camera so that you can get your passion out, and then you grow from there. We'll be the bridge. We'll get you across the side, but your work ethic and your character are going to take you to the next level,
We'll make the pathway, but you got to walk it.
Yep, that probably sounds better than what I just said.
LVMFI.org. You guys check it out. Thank you for tuning in. And gentlemen, thank you for being here with me.
So good night.
Adelante.
Amen.
Got him.